What's going on YouTube? Ryan Alex back in Dopamon again, and today we watched all four of the World Junior Hockey Championship games on day 2 of the 2022 World Juniors, and we're here to talk about them all, give you our little updates, what we thought of all the players, what we thought about the games overall, and yeah, just a review reaction video.
And of course, if you're, just coming by this content for some random reason, you like the World Juniors, you like hockey, drop a like and, subscribe. We got a lot more dope content coming out for you. And what was the first game of the day, Ryan?
First game of the day was Finland Austria.
Mm-hmm.
Finland coming off a game yesterday, Austria playing its first game of the tournament. And Austria should have been relegated last year. Because of the COVID bubble, they didn't regulate any teams, so they get another year this year. And it was announced that they're going to get another year next year. So Austria is sticking around for a little bit. But yeah, it was their first game of this tournament. We'll go through what we thought. Do you have any notes before we just get into the first goal?
Yeah, you know what? A strong performance right off the bat from both Kemmel and Lambert. The two draft
Yeah.
eligibles, I thought that they both had a really good start, both skating a lot across the ice, and both of them have a good game. But really quickly off the bat, uh, and speaking of Lambert, he helps put one in pretty
Yeah,
early.
nice drive to the net. Decides to go around and set up Koivunen really nicely. Yeah, put Koivunen on the board from Lambert and
Hmm.
Hellenius. That line seems to
Oh
be
yeah,
their main offensive
yeah.
weapon so far in this tournament. We'll see how it fares against a stronger team like Canada, but yeah, that's their offensive line so far.
Yeah, I'm really liking Kalenius.
Yeah,
He was an incredible part of that goal. Credits to Lambert for really quick, reaction speed, decision making on the spot to go around. A big assist. Read the play pretty quick, and Finland's up 1-0.
yeah,
And
and credit to Austria, they kept in the game. I know Austria obviously is not in the tier that Finland is in, and it was apparent all game. This game is spoiler alert pretty one sided, but um, kept in it for the most part in the first period. Had a couple little rush chances here and there, but the second goal came almost with 2 minutes left in the first period. Hellenius gets his third of the tournament already, left alone in front of the net after some sustained pressure. You can see Finland start to ramp it up. It's you could hear the commentators on the broadcast talk about a stronger team playing a weaker team like that, and sometimes it takes you a little bit to get up to speed. So that's probably what we saw here from Finland. 2-0 Finland after one. Shots on goal were 21-4, so it was all Finland. Austria just doesn't have the speed to keep up. There were two chances for Austria. It was Oscar Meyer on a partial breakaway. Um, got a little backhand off, and Casper and Vincent Rohr with kind of a bobbled puck
mhm.
by the side of the Finnish net were the two best chances I think Austria had in this game, really, other than the goal to score. And yeah, moving on to the second period where it was again, Alex, all Finland.
Mhm. Austria started the period with a power play, but they had some good ozone possession, but they really just couldn't get the puck to the net. No shots on the power play at all, and Austria keeps icing it, and then a little bit more back and forth, but following that power play. But then Finland with another one puts it up 3-0.
Yeah, Simon Tyvel for Mata and Aho. Another Aho. It got me a couple times in this game. I'm like, oh no, another one. Um, Jammed home in front. A little bit of a scrum after the whistle. But Simon Tyvel, I think, has played a pretty decent 2 games. Been
Hmm.
one of my
Hmm.
favorite Finnish players to watch.
And Marco Kasper really angry afterwards.
Yeah.
Should only be angry at himself. Didn't do a really good job boxing out the forward, and ends up getting a penalty, and it becomes a 4-on-4.
Yeah,
And
and it was actually eventually I think it turned into a 4-on-3,
it did,
correct?
it did.
Correct. And on that power play.
Helenius with a holding penalty.
Yeah, exactly. And on that power play, Austria gets on the board,
Hmm.
which is awesome for them. All last tournament had 1 goal, so they've matched it in the first game. So we'll see how they do the rest of the tournament. But Urbanek with the absolute howitzer from the point, nice little one-timer from Roar Nauer. Yeah, 3-1 Finland. So
Hmm.
yeah, Austria gets on the board.
And I was happy to see Luca Auer get time on the power play. I am a fan of him to be drafted in the 2022 NHL draft. Uh, coming in July. I think he showed today a little bit of promise. He's really, really big for his 6'1" stature, lots of speed, definitely a center. I think he had a decent game, especially towards the end as he kind of got his feet wet under him. Austria definitely had a harder time. But yeah, he gets a point here, and I'm really happy for him because not many Austrians ever will. So,
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough to judge,
hmm
the draft eligible guys, which is basically the whole team on Austria because just the competition they're up against. It's no one had a good game on
hmm
Austria really. Couple you have to look at smaller plays when you look at teams like this when they're getting shelled. Um, but yeah, it's tough to really judge a players, especially in the offensive zone,
yeah.
um,
And if they're
what they're
not
capable of.
top, top prospects that Luca Auer
Yeah,
isn't. Like a guy like
yeah,
Kemmel or Lambert, you're definitely gonna get better looks at, but not for him it's gonna be different.
yeah. But for Finland, unfortunately for Austria, I think less than a minute later, gets back that goal. Väisänen from Aho and Pavarinta deflected off the butt of Väisänen. I
Hmm.
thought that was
Hmm.
funny. 4-1 Finland. The Austrian goalie was a little late to react there. Ranishits, who I thought had an okay game. Ranishits, considering how much he had 48 shots against him total in the game. Played pretty well, but a little late to react on this one.
Hmm. And before the end of the period, Austria takes a penalty. But then immediately after, Niemela takes a check to the head. I didn't really
Yeah.
think it was a check to the head. It wasn't that vicious. I don't think it really hit him there, but at a certain angle, it kind of does look bad, and it turned that 5-on-4 for into a 4-on-4. And I thought that on that 4-on-4, he got a good chance from like Luca Auer and Vincent Rohrer. I like that Austria is giving like a much younger team, you know, chances. This is tough competition, and these are 17-year-olds against like 19-year-olds who are top prospects for the NHL, and they still look pretty good. But the period ends back on 5-on-5, and the shots are 38-6 by this point.
Yeah, it's all Finland. They're just too good. They're
Hmm.
they're they're too good for Austria here. Very one-sided game, probably the most one-sided game of the tournament, and we can fly through the goals in the third.
Yeah, they kind of fell apart a little bit. I felt like after that, Austria seemed to be a little bit deflated.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to play a game like that. Yeah, they only had 9 shots on goal all game. You ever think at the start of the third before we hit the next one?
Nope.
Nope. So yeah, the at the right around the 8 minute mark or the 9 minute mark, sorry, Finland goes up 5-1. Koivunen gets his second of the game from Lambert and Putio. Nice second effort goal.
From his butt.
Scored on his butt. It was really nice second effort goal where he kind of did a little backhand thing. Really good effort from him. Yeah, that line again clicking.
Hmm. And Finland kept up the pressure pretty hard, and right after that, Niemela from the point with a rocket.
Yeah, an absolute
Hmm.
blast
Hmm.
uh, from Mata with the assist there. Yeah, Niemela, the Leafs prospect, so I'm really excited to see what he can bring in the future. Gets his first goal of the tournament. Absolute blast here from the point.
And then, as if it wasn't bad enough, the final 7-1 to really nail in the coffin. One is just handed to Brad Lambert. To all credit to him, he skated really hard to get to this puck, and then it just kind of lands right on his stick. He slides it in real easy, and that's how it ends.
Yep. Yeah, 7-1 final. Um, Shots were 48-9. Like I said, Ranishits and Jakola for Finland. Merlanen gets the night off today, or the afternoon off today after playing Germany. Um, yeah, for me, the only really good standout, I mean, a couple of guys were okay, but the only good standout I think was Marco Kasper. And, he's going to be the top Austrian pick in
Yeah,
this year's
yeah.
draft, so it makes sense that he is. Yeah, really the only standout for me. Just skated so much better than everyone else on his team, and yeah, we'll see if Austria can beat
hmm
their goaltender from last year.
Yeah, I saw him, intercept a bunch of pucks right in the neutral zone, and quick transition game. I thought, like you said earlier, it is really hard to read, on a terrible team,
Yeah,
the good guys on it, but he did shine at times. He carried the puck well. He intercepted passes, like I said, and I thought that there's something there. One mistake, didn't box out a guy. You can kind of overlook that, in the overall, when you look at him.
absolutely.
hmm
Moving on to game two.
Game two, Russia versus Switzerland. What'd you think
Yeah,
right out of the bat,
similar
Ryan?
similar to if the Finland Austria game is a powerhouse versus not so much, and Russia coming off in a back-to-back situation, and Switzerland playing its first game of the tournament here. Surprise right off the bat, I thought, is Yaro Askarov did not start this game, and said it was Gushkov.
hmm
Um, was that surprising to you? Did that catch you off guard? It caught me off guard.
Not really. I expected a little bit of a toss up in that. Just kind of, it wasn't working. You gotta obviously he's a little bit shook, Askarov, and you can't throw him out there again if he's just not going to be your goaltender.
Yeah, and the starter for Switzerland was Pasha, who I thought played pretty well, but we'll
Yeah. hmm
get into the game. You have any thoughts right off the bat?
Yeah, Chibrikov all game, right from the start. He was just all over it, and I think that him falling to 50th overall in the draft is criminal. The Winnipeg Jets got a gem there.
I think he played a good game, good skating game. I thought he
hmm
was really, really quick up and down the wings, and had a couple points I think in this game. So, yeah, played pretty well. Um, Speaking of pretty well, the first goal
Yes.
of the game on the board for Team Russia, with 8 minutes or so into this first period. Play started off a really good rush by Chibrikov, like we said, and Danila Yurov, going to be a top pick in this year's draft, gets the goal. Took two deflections off a Swiss defenseman, and got in, but the play started by the good rush chance from Chibrikov, and Yurov finishes it off.
Unlike the top draft prospects on Finland, I don't see Yurov being played as much. Just like he does in the KHL, he's not getting as much time. So I'm glad that he did make, the one opportunity, the big opportunity that he did get to play there on that line to like make it work. And he showed that just committing to the puck. Sometimes that's all you need to, just score. And Russia, I think, lacked a lot of that all game. There are times that they just didn't have a drive offensively. Maybe they played at like, 60, 70%, and they took Switzerland a little bit easy when they shouldn't have. It's not like a habit you want them to get into. And Yurov's a guy that I felt like brought a lot of energy.
Yeah. Interested to see if he moves up the lineup. Obviously, they're playing younger
hmm
guys. Michkov's getting his chances, so maybe Yurov starts moving up in the lineup. Kind of not a crazy, not many chances in between the first goal and the second goal. But after the second goal, the floodgates kind of really opened. After the end of the first period was kind of nuts. Why don't you talk about the second goal for Russia?
It was a great second effort. Like I was saying earlier, Russia lacked a lot of that kind of energy offensively, and Zlodiev jumped on his own rebound, and it was the first time any Russian had kind of done that, and got a weird goal from a sharp angle.
Yeah, goalie kind of loses the puck. I think around the net here, Pasha kind of loses it after it's being taken around the net, and yeah, Zlodiev snipes it short side. Didkovsky with the assist on that one. Yeah, and not 2 minutes later.
Yeah, it was just a weird bounce that kind of found Pavel Tutenev right in the slot, and who throws it right on the net, knowing right what to do when that happens. You don't have to think twice, just throw it at the net and goes in. And I think that having played, being behind a Swedish team all game yesterday, kind of like got in their head a little bit. Starting hot in this game, I think like kind of helped them find their rhythm a little bit. Around this point in the game. And
Yeah, I think so too.
Russia's a team that gets better throughout this tournament, historically. And if they find their rhythm, they could be scary. So
Yeah, absolutely. The Russians are obviously always a little bit scary to play. Tutenev with that goal, like you said, turns and fires. Gets through Pasha. I think should have had this. Savikov and Danilo Yurov with an assist. Gets his second point of the game. But then
yep, but
a minute after that,
yeah, before the end of the period,
kind of a crazy end of the first. Biaska for the Swiss from Sidler and Farini. A little on-man rush. Nikita Novikov gets caught pinching in the offensive zone and odd man rush the other way. And the wrister goes right through Gushkov. And we can talk about the goaltending and for Russia right now being a little bit shaky. That's one you got to have if you're the Russian goalie.
And to start the second, so it's a weird, Michkov trying to sell a bit of an injury right off the face-off. And because he thought the play was going ahead, but then he looks over his shoulder and it's going the other way, and the Swiss player just rings it right off the post on a 2-on-1, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and to start the second period, Switzerland really have a hard time breaking it out of the zone. I noticed, got Russia locking down that neutral zone a little bit and having a really hard time getting into the offensive zone for Switzerland. And in the second period, we're going to talk about kind of a nasty looking injury to a Swiss player. I don't know if you noticed that. Nussbaumer, if I'm pronouncing that right, takes a puck to the inside of the knee.
Ooh, yeah, it stung
with
him.
With a couple minutes left in the period, really stung him, helped off the ice, had no weight on that leg. I don't know if he's, what the extent of the injury is, but that looked not great for him. Yeah, really, really scary looking knee injury for Nussbaumer. And yeah, the second period had no goals. It was 3-1 still at the through the second period. Do you have anything else that you noticed throughout the second?
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of chances still. I like Chibrikov. He got a really big. There's a lot of scrambles in front of the Swiss goaltender. Chibrikov stole one right in the slot. He also drew a penalty. When drew a penalty, got a power play for Russia, and on that one, Michkov got some pretty good shots. And they only counted one of them, but because one a little bit high on the other one, but that's him creating. That's his type of game, and I thought he played pretty well in the second period as well. But Novikov, like you said, did not impress me at all in this period. He keeps going deep with the puck, but doesn't have the skills to do anything with it. Kind of, just kind of fails, and he's not creating chances like he should.
Yeah, I didn't like Novikov's game today, or against Sweden, to be completely honest. Yeah, really not great. I thought Savikov had a little bit of a better game today. Yeah, a couple guys, but yeah, Novikov, especially that one goal he got caught, flat-footed a little bit on the odd man rush that led to a Switzerland goal. Third period.
There was the first penalty to Russia in the game.
Yeah.
Last game it kind of bit them. Taking too many penalties against Sweden. And in this one, they were pretty disciplined until this point. It was the first penalty.
Yeah, much more disciplined. I think Sweden, brought that out of Russia a little bit. Very hard-hitting team. Sweden ended up being in the last game. So playing a team like Switzerland is a little less less aggressive, and Russia able to be a little more disciplined in this case.
hmm And then in this one, Michkov finally puts one in. I think his with like from the center, Ditkovsky gives him a pass, and Michkov did not have a lot of space at all from like a sharp angle there, and he squeezed one by Pasha that I just his ability to move and lift the puck like that was just unreal.
Yeah, that was a great goal from a goal scorer,
hmm
a really good goal scorer. Michkov with his, I think that was his third of the tournament.
hmm
Incredible player, and it would be interesting to see because, sidebar, I guess, from the game, because of his draft status being a little strange in the sense that he has signed a contract with SK St. Petersburg, and he's going to be, a little late to the NHL. Whoever drafts him is not going to be able to bring him over to North America, I think, for 3 years, so until 2026. There's a good chance because of that Matvey Michkov plays in more tournaments, more World Junior tournaments than a top prospect like him would normally. Um, 3 goals already. He might break some records on the way to
Fair.
uh, some a long World Junior career.
hmm
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
This is there wasn't much left, but there was a challenge made by Coach Sergei Zubov on a when Switzerland gets a goal, there's a tip in front, but
Yep.
it obviously was not offside. I don't know why Zubov called it at all. I don't know. It's kind of a
Yeah,
just a weird.
maybe trying to save Guskov a little bit stats wise. I don't know. But it was toward the end of the game. It was only a minute left,
hmm
so why not take that chance if it's close?
Yeah, I thought maybe he was trying to like deflate the Swiss energy or something, really stick it to them. I don't know, just because they scored and he's trying to like keep his team fresh, like a timeout. I don't know, but it didn't work. But that was just a minute and 15 left. Russia takes this 1-4-2.
Yeah, Ritzman with that goal. Allen back and Struhl with the assists. Yeah, 4-2. I think a closer game than it should have.
hmm
Russia, I think, was pretty sloppy at times, especially in the first. You mentioned they'd figured it out eventually, but despite being up most of the game, similar to the Sweden game, Russia had a couple lucky bounces. Go their way. Couple saves one way or the other. This game could be pretty close, and I think Russia needs to really tighten up their game and bring a little bit more offense if they want to beat a team like U.S. or
hmm
Sweden
hmm
again in the quarters once we get there. Um, yeah, Russia, a little bit suspect I think after this game for how far they're going to go.
All right, game three. Germany versus Czechia.
Yeah, this game. Let me tell you, this game was kind of fun. Low scoring, but I think pretty fun. A little bit of a goaltending matchup, and
hmm
just before the game, finding out that Czechia gets hit a huge blow, and David Juracek out for the remainder of the tournament with a knee injury he sustained after trying to hit Will Cooley on Team Canada. Kind of an awkward. It wasn't. I don't know how knee on knee it was. To me, it looked like a really bad Charlie horse at the time, but um, obviously a fairly bad knee injury. I don't know exactly the extent of it. They didn't announce anything, but Czechia with that injury and a suspension laid down by the IIHF for a cross check against Canada as well. We're down to 5 defensemen to start this game.
hmm And that means that they're leaving a lot of forwards just, sitting there doing nothing. So, kind of wasted talent.
Now we were talking about the goalies in this game a lot. I know me and you
hmm
were
hmm
messaging each other live during the game. Bugel for Germany. I thought Quap had a very good game yesterday
hmm
against Finland. Bugel was incredible. I think he was the only reason that Germany was in this game. And Bednash for Czechia. had equally as good of a game, I thought, but Bogle really held down the fort here in the first period.
Yeah, you know what? And really early, the Czechs get a chance right in front of them, and I thought that thing was going in. I immediately,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that thing's just squeezing in under his pad, and he was really sharp. And I right then, I'm like, oh, he is gonna have a good game. Like I had a good feeling for him.
Yeah, and moving on to the second, I guess. Much
Yeah, it
more
was a
wide
very
open.
low-scoring game.
Yeah, low scoring game. Nothing in the first. Start of the second was much more wide open.
Hmm.
Breakaways, odd man rushes. Czechia using their speed fairly well, I thought, in the second, starting to wear Germany down a little bit, just using their speed. And with almost 5 minutes into the period, we have a goal.
Hmm. And a great pass by Luka Munzenberger to start this play. I thought he had a really good game. If they're, a player, maybe a skater of the game, I would give it to him for the German team. I thought he had a great game. Overall, I
Mhm.
like him. Looking at where he was drafted, I agree with it now. So,
Mhm. Yeah, for Germany, Blanc with the goal. Blank.
hmm.
From Rakowski and Munzenberger, like you said, nice finish, roofs it over Bednash uh, after a nice little area pass from Rakowski. I think had a
Hmm.
to get it to Blanc in this case was really good. And Germany on the board.
Hmm. And right after, they make a really quick chance to try and score again, like seconds after, right off the faceoff. I like that the German team all throughout the game was very like intense. They never really held up. They knew that they were kind of the underdogs and had to like grind through this game, and they stuck to that the entire time. It really shows.
Yeah, and yeah, again a pretty close game, but Czechia ties it up with 4 minutes left to go in the second period. Jan Mishak
Hmm.
bounces a puck off a power play goal, bounces a puck off the German defenseman's foot and in. So a little bit of a bad break there for the German goalie Bugel, who's having, like we said, a spectacular game.
It was a power play
Spacek,
goal.
hmm?
It was a power play goal too.
Yeah.
The which was caused by Volek on the German team, who was the highest penalized player from last World Juniors, which
Oh
I
yeah.
think is funny.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was good. I thought it was like a good effort by Mishak or Mysak. Uh, Despite it was kind of like a random bounce, but that for Bugle you want, but it was still a good goal. Like it was a good effort by him.
Yeah, Mishak had a couple chances in this game. Finally gets one to go. Spacek and Novak with the assists. Just before the end of the period, too. One more thing I wanted to
Hmm.
say is I like mentioning hits
Oh
in
yeah, oh
in
yeah.
World Juniors because it's always fun to watch these kids try to blow each other up. And Stan Svozil absolutely crushes German player. I think it was Schweiger at the German blue line in the neutral zone. Great hit from Svozil.
Hmm.
Not a guy who you think to be incredibly physical, but especially in open ice. But yeah, Svozil with a great hit there.
Yeah, you know what? He did that in the offensive zone corner. So he
Yeah.
created that play. He jumped in on the rush. He was a huge part of that, and he did that a lot throughout the game. Obviously, we saw the goal that he scored yesterday, but today he was pulling the same puck skills. Trying to go deep with the puck. Something that like if you watch Russia. Nikita Novikov couldn't pull off, for instance. He shows that he does have that elite skill. He's one of the better D in this tournament.
Yeah, and third period, not much happening again, goals wise. Very low scoring game.
Hmm.
One good thing I wanted to mention is until the third period, I had not seen much of Florian Eliash,
No.
who is one of Germany's supposed to be one of their better players in this game. Um, was much more involved against Team Finland than I thought he was in the first two periods here. But I think started to bring it on late in this game and gets a couple chances. Yeah,
He fanned on a puck and late, in the second period, I think, and I just didn't. I agree. He wasn't on his game today. There was something off.
Yeah. Germany actually controlling a lot of the play in the second half of this period, really trying to give a push there. At one point, the shots were highly in Czechia's favor, but with Germany's little late game push to try to win this game, brought the shots, total shots a lot closer.
And that brought it to overtime.
Yeah,
3-on-3.
first overtime of the tournament. Very exciting. 3-on-3, like you said.
I liked right
And
off the bat, Szymanski created a lot of space for himself. Germany gets the first shot. It was really wide open. I thought Yuri Kulik had a good drive to the
yeah,
net. He had a much
speed.
better game today. I thought that he didn't bring the skating yesterday, but
Yeah,
brought it today.
didn't have the wheels.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kulik on that play. We're thinking of the same play. Great speed to the outside and chance there. Had some wheels that I didn't really know that he had. I knew he was a good, decent skater, but he had pretty decent straightaway speed there in the neutral zone.
But he doesn't put the puck in the net.
Nope.
Nope. At the other end, Blank, who picks the puck up, goes end to end bit with it, and short side high just lets it rip. That's it.
And that's it. Germany wins. This is an important game for these two teams because everyone expects Canada Finland to be 1-2, so this is basically deciding 3-4. Assuming that both teams beat Austria, which I assume they will. Yeah, so Germany's, I think, locks up third place unless they beat Canada. Yeah, great shot by Blanc here to win. Takes advantage, I think, of a mistake by the goaltender, Besnash. Goes down a little too early. He goes down technically in the right spot, but too early. He's getting into the position where Blanc's going to take it around the net, where he's covering the low end of the net and able to move side to side easily, but drops a little too early, and Blanc takes advantage, rips it on the open upper half of the net for a German win. And watching Team Germany, sing their anthem, and that's what the World Juniors for me is about. It's these kids were so happy to win this game. A little bit of a middle round energy, if you will, in this game, especially late.
Yeah, they showed a shot of them cheering like while singing their national anthem. They were going ham. They were going relentless.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
They were excited. This was the game they had to win for placement. So great to see Germany win. And Czechia I thought played great, but Bugle in goal, player of the game for Germany, stopped 39 of 40 shots. Absolutely incredible performance. Bednash, no slouch himself, stopped 30 of 32. Yeah, I think goaltending and timely scoring for Germany here won it for the Germans, and Czechia falls to 0-2.
In Game 4, the final game of the evening, Sweden versus Slovakia.
Yeah, this is a game I was very, very excited for. This was my game of the day, 9:30 Eastern time for us in Canada. Yeah, great matchup here, I think.
And a lot of draft eligible players. I always like to watch them, so it's a good game for me to watch.
Yeah, especially for Slovakia.
Yeah, specifically, of course, Sweden with no first-year draft eligibles brought to this tournament. Definitely, I think they showed today that they definitely had like a bigger, stronger, more elite team. In the end, I think that was a huge factor. So to start the game, I thought Sweden had a pretty strong start, but Slovakia kind of fights back. I thought Slavkovsky had a big pass in front off the start. Petrovsky as well had a big chance where he picked it up in the D zone, carried it up end to end, but neither of them could get it by.
Yeah, and I think Sweden actually gets away with two pretty blatant penalty calls, hooks early. Slovakia gets a couple chances, and Sweden, I think, gets away with a couple. Overall, the officiating not great in this game, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, Sweden, I think, definitely gets away with a couple early.
And that leads to Slovakia getting a penalty. And it was a quick power play for Sweden right off the bat. Like 20, 30 seconds in, it was a shot from the point, kind of flew in.
Good low to high play on a power play. Great shot finish by Niederbach, who gets Sweden on the board from Eklund and Grans on the power play, like you said. Second of the World Juniors for Niederbach. Yeah, Sweden up by 1.
By like the 10-minute mark, the first period here, Slovakia was leading in shots. They seemed to really maintain a lot of offensive pressure. Really structured game, I thought, by them. Good positioning all around, and they forced a lot of shots, on net, which they needed to do because they were facing a hot goaltender in Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah, we'll get to Jesper
Hmm.
Wallstedt. I have a lot to say about him, as you know. Um,
Big
yeah,
fan.
looks sharp. Shots were 14-4, I think, Slovakia after this first period.
Hmm.
Controlled a lot of the play despite being down, and carries the momentum into the second, I thought, until 13 minutes left in the second period. Sweden gets their second of the game.
Hmm. It was a really bad defensive play.
Yeah.
Schoberg just kind of, it was a quick transition. Schoberg just steps right into the middle of the ice, takes it, and there's one-on-one with the goalie and lets him rip and scores. And that's it's not what you want to see defensively. When you're Slovakia, you're a little bit of a younger team. You want a little bit more poise, but they kind of get exposed.
Yeah, the defenseman here that made the mistake there was Bakala,
Hmm.
um, for for Slovakia. And yeah, Nystrom with the assist. Schoberg. They were calling him the pronunciation of this name was all over the place today. It was
Weiberg,
Wolberg and
Wolberg.
Weiberg and Schoberg. North American, I think, is Schoberg.
Hmm.
But
We
it,
try.
it was they were kind of all over the place, even on the broadcast. Slovakia getting the majority of the chances and sustained
Hmm.
pressure in this game. Sweden seemed to only be able to generate off the rush in this period. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Slovakia gets a power play in this uh, period as well. And while they're on it, there's a weird chance where Loof loses his stick, and I think Wallstedt
yeah.
kind of knocks the post off the peg to get a whistle, and
Yeah.
he risked getting a delay of game
Delay a
penalty,
game.
but he gets away with it. Gets a whistle, and the rest of that that was on a power play, so it was kind of like almost like a 5-on-3, 5-on-3.5, and then but the rest of the power play was a good effort by Slovakia, but no goals.
Yeah, and a player who we'll get to later is an absolute menace and is my kind of like depth defenseman on a team that hits
Hmm.
hard is Loof. Um, Physical all game, and we'll get to the hit later in the third period that comes up, but physical all game. Sweden playing very very chippy the first two games that we've seen against Russia and against Slovakia here. A little bit of a chippiness, a
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
hard fought game from Sweden, and we don't normally think of Sweden like that, but in this tournament, that's exactly what they are. They're a hard team to play against.
I didn't think it was completely consistent throughout the game. At times it felt like they were a little bit more passive, but there were times that they like turned it on and they're like, okay, we need to like send a physical message, and then they brought it on. It's not like it was like always like part of their structure to be physical, but it's like, an asset that they do have and can utilize. And I appreciate that. It's kind of came out of nowhere that, I think Slovakia with a lot of first year draft eligibles, they're a younger team, and when you can throw the body, you do, and you'll definitely wear out the opponent, and I think they did a little bit.
Yeah. Third period
Hmm.
for this game was some of the most exciting World Junior Hockey I've watched so far. Especially the last 10 minutes. We'll start with kind of what triggers the whole craziness. Loof gives Simon Nemec a little bit of a forearm shiver, a little hit to the head. Play was reviewed. Loof was given a match penalty, and Slovakia gets a 5-minute power play out of it. Nemec seemed okay, but did take a pretty hard hit there by Loof.
Yeah, it was rough. You could see him on the bench after, and he was shook, but, Nemitz was all right. But you can't be throwing hits. You can't be like, he got his forearm up in the chin. You can't be throwing hits that high. Keep it shoulder on shoulder. Keep it on the body.
Yeah, absolutely crunched him. Big physical guy, Loof, good defenseman, but gets a little bit carried away here. I don't know if in the NHL, in North American hockey, I don't know if this is a match penalty. No. It's probably just boarding or hit to the head or something like that. But
if anything,
in international and IIHF, this is a match penalty, and he's gone for the rest of the game. So Sweden is down a defenseman.
And that gives them a 5-minute power play.
Yeah, huge opportunity for Slovakia,
which I felt got kind of broken by a commercial break. At the 10-minute mark. I guess it was kind of like mandatory, but I felt like it kind of broke a little bit of the Slovakian momentum. I thought before the commercial break, it started with like a good amount of pressure. And then remember that Wallstedt kind of gets an Oscar for selling a little bump to the head, when the pressure was in front of him.
Yeah, that was actually really funny.
It was amazing.
He did get kicked. He got kicked.
Oh, he did get bumped, for sure.
He got a boot to the head, but he definitely sold it. But as a goalie, you're not expecting a skate to hit you in the mask, so maybe it was a little bit of both. But I thought that play from Wallstedt was kind of funny.
But afterwards, while on the PK still, Sweden gets another penalty.
Yeah. Kind of a crazy couple minutes here. Slovakia actually pulls their goalie with 8:50 left, goes up, with 6 skaters on the ice now, 6 on 4. And then, Sweden with a puck over glass penalty with, the extra man, the extra pressure. And now it's 6 on 3 because Slovakia pulls their goalie again. And it's 6 on 3. I don't remember the last time I saw a 6 on 3 power play. Very, very rare. And, especially with the goalie pulled with that much time left, it was like almost 7 minutes. The goalie was pulled.
8.
Incredible penalty killing from Sweden, I thought here.
Big chances from Slovakia, though, but they just couldn't put it in.
Yeah, Wallstedt, man. He's so good. He's so incredible. Grade A saves. Slovakia had some decent chances, but a couple really key blocks, too, from Emil Andre, I think a Philadelphia Flyers draft pick, who's had, I think, a really good tournament. The Swedish captain on defense. Still had chances, Slovakia. A lot of chances, a lot of shots. But with just over a minute left, Sweden ices this game. Youngman, the empty netter, is actually, I think it was the second empty netter, actually, now that I think about it. I think he had an empty netter against Russia. From Stenman, seals this game up. You have anything to add at the end of this?
A shutout for Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, holy crap. Jesper Wallstedt was so good in this game. The only reason for me that Slovakia didn't win. I thought Slovakia was honestly the better team in this game. And, I think Sweden is bigger and more physical, had chances, but the shots were 48-26 for Slovakia. And, you don't get, and they had a lot of chances. Jesper Wallstedt is insane to me. And we did this in live stream for the draft. We've talked about it a whole lot. It is insane to me that this guy went 20th. I had him in my top 5, I think.
You did. He should have been. He's pretty
Jesper
good.
Wallstedt is the most technically sound goaltender at his age, 19, that I have ever seen. To be completely obvious, to be completely transparent, honest about it. The best technically sound goaltender I've ever seen at his age, and steals this game for Sweden.
Yeah, you know what? I have a point myself. I really liked Slovakia's game. Their structure.
Yeah.
60 minutes they played. They got the puck into the areas that they needed to score. They got the puck to the right guy. But the right guy couldn't put the puck in the net. I think if an Alexander Holtz was on this team, I think if there was an Ekholm on this team, an Eklund on this team, a William Eklund on this team,
or an Ekholm,
or an Ekholm, but that could have been a game-changing factor. All game Holtz is throwing beautiful shots on net, and I think that if he had been doing that for Slovakia, I feel that might have been the one that went in, and maybe if it's 1-1, that Slovakia kind of keeps us in. But they don't have a guy with like the finish that Team Sweden does. Of course, I have high hopes for the guys that are on the roster. Some of them are pretty good, but the ones that are on Sweden are just a year older, and the maturity and poise just kind of shows.
Yeah, look out for this team next year. Slovakia will have Slavkovsky, Mesar, and Nemec, drafted. Assuming they don't make their NHL teams back, as 19-year-olds, this team might be scary. With that core.
Oh yeah.
Next year. For this tournament, though, Slovakia and Russia is going to be really interesting. Russia, better watch out for this team. Slovakia made it really interesting against the States and got goalied by Comesso, and they had a great game here, got goalied by Wallstedt. Russia's goaltending hasn't been very good, so if Russia loses to Slovakia, it could be an interesting result in Group B. And I would, if I'm Canada and Finland in Group A, I better win my division because I don't want to play Slovakia in the quarters, man. Not a chance. This is a scary team. And I was talking about it yesterday in my video. If you watched that video, my day one recap, my call was my biggest hot take of this tournament is Slovakia is going to upset a team. So, they almost get one here as Sweden gives them a run for their money. But Slovakia, I think, is still they're going to upset somebody in this tournament. And yeah, great effort. I think great game. Most exciting game of the tournament for me so far. Day 2, the last game of day 2. Wallstedt, player of the game for Sweden. Slavkovsky, player of the game for Slovakia.
I agree. And that was it. 4 games all day. And we cannot wait to bring it to you tomorrow and do the exact same thing. There are only 2 games? 2 games tomorrow?
Yep. 2 games tomorrow is Canada, Austria, and U.S. Switzerland, I think.
We'll see.
Not sure about that second one.
We'll bring you coverage. So one of us will, at least. Thank you so much. Peace.